No animal fats, Mr. Brooks. That's what the dietitian said.
Oi. You tell her from me. Meat. That's what I have for my dinner. Roast meat.
Come on, man.
Hello, Kay. I'm Julia Stevens.
Hello.
Your mother and I have something to tell you. Shut the door, Brenda.
Rodway, yes. A sad case, but you know how it is. 18-year-olds, first time away from home, pressure of work. Do take a seat. It was purely for relaxation to begin with, but then...
Yes. Was Dr. McClure involved?
Oh, no, of course not. Felix? Good heavens.
What about his scout, Ted Brooks?
Did he supply Rodway with the drugs? In which case, why didn't you call in the police?
Well, we were just about to open the appeal. You know, I mean, a death was bad enough. But if it came out that he was getting drugs from his scout, well, you can imagine the effect on the old members.
So you let Brooks get away with it?
Well, we didn't know it was Brooks, you know, not for certain. And, of course, Felix only got in the job at the museum on the condition that he never again had any contact with the students of this college.
And has he had contact?
Oh, no, he wouldn't have dared. We'd have had him in court as soon as you like.
What sort of type is Brooks?
Oh, ordinary, loyal college servant, you know, as we thought.
Popular with the students, no doubt.
Was he a potential murderer?
Oh, God, I hope not. I mean, that would scupper the appeal altogether.
Kevin?
Yes, Mrs. Stevens?
Kevin, I find I require the pleasure of your company. You said I could have it any time I wanted. Well, now I do want. Can you come to my house after school tomorrow? There's something I want you to do for me.
Mr. Brooks discharged himself half an hour ago because there was no sausage and bacon for his breakfast. I tried to keep him in for a few days for observation, but...
You just let him go?
We can't keep people here against their will, Chief Inspector. And since most of our budget now goes on managers, beds are in a very short supply.
No, I hate hospitals. No, thank you. I'll be back to work next week.
Thought I got a bit of time to myself for once, too. Oh.
You go, Bren.
No, I couldn't. Not with you like this.
I don't want you fussing me all the time. Bloody hell. Bren works with this teacher, Mrs. Stevens. Taking her up to Stratford-upon Avon. What are you going to see, Bren?
Shakespeare. But I'm not going. Not with you like this.
Don't fuss me! Specialist says I'm not to get excited. What with her fussing me all the time?
You were admitted to hospital on Sunday afternoon at... when was it, Lewis?
1:57.
When exactly were you taken ill?
You tell him, Bren.
Well, it was 3:05 in the morning when he woke with this pain in his chest.
That's right. Right here it was. I thought it was indigestion, you know?
He often gets indigestion after he's been down the club. So I got up and fetched him the Rennies and made him a cup of tea. Oh, I forgot the cake.
Not for me, thanks.
What about you, Sergeant?
Yeah, please.
Well, you seemed a bit better after that, didn't you, Ted?
A bit.
but he woke again at 6. So I made him another cup, but that didn't seem to help. And he didn't want no breakfast. I'll just get the cake.
You used to have a good job at Wolsey College, Mr. Brooks.
If you call cleaning up after a bunch of spoiled brats a good job, yes.
In your time there, were you aware of any drugs being used by the students on your staircase?
Nothing to do with me if there was.
Where did they get them, do you suppose?
Sold them to one another, I reckon. Dr. McClure was always on at me about it. Have I seen this? Have I seen that? I told him the only needles I ever saw were sewing needles.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's 1950, please.
Oh, I've just got one of these blenders. They're pricey, aren't they?
Yes. But if you do a lot of baking, Ted's ever so fond of cakes. And Mrs. Stevens. I bake for her every week, too.
This your daughter?
That's Kay, yes. When she was younger.
Kay? She's still living at home?
Oh, I wish she was. She and Ted, they didn't see eye to eye, so she went to London.
Is she working?
She's got a very good job. In the travel business. Sorts out problems for foreign businessmen when they come to London. She's doing very well. She's got her own flat in Chelsea. There you are, Sergeant.
All right, darling?
You're the wrong side of Oxford for the museum, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, well, I cycle. Or I used to.
Well, never rains, but it pours. I'm sure it brought on his attack.
Yeah, it may have done.
Only had his bike stolen, didn't he? Saturday night, right outside the club. He had to walk home, didn't you, Ted? I'm sure that's what brought on his attack.
Have you reported the theft?
Give us a chance. I've been busy having a heart attack. Anyway, a stolen bike in Oxford.
All right, thanks very much. You've been very helpful. But you ought to report that bike. Lewis, take down the details, will you?
You make me do that for?
Ted Brooks' bike wasn't stolen. Chucked it in the river, covered in Dr. McClure's blood.
Well, I've no reason to think that. Brooks said he was...
Lewis. He said he had his heart attack at 3 o'clock in the morning. But he didn't show up at the hospital for another 11 hours. Would you wait that long?
They've got one of those pin boards in their kitchen with a picture of their daughter. Looks just like the girl in the photos of Dr. McClure's. And she just happens to be called Kay and works in London, allegedly providing services for foreign businessmen.
That's well done, Lewis.
And they've got a brand new kitchen. How can a cleaner and a security guard afford a brand new kitchen?
Selling drugs to students.
Furthermore, I don't know if you noticed, but Brooks's shoes?
Size 10s, yes. Shall we take Brooks down to the station, question him hard?
May have another attack.
All right, we'll let him sit and stew while we check his alibi. Circulate that description of the bike. If we had the bike and the girl, we must find this girl, Lewis.
I've been leaving messages for you, Sergeant Lewis. We're most anxious to get in touch with you. Could you call me as soon as possible, please? Chief Inspector Morse or Sergeant Lewis on Oxford 202566. Thanks.
I hate answer machines.
That's because you know all the answers.
That's... Very clever, Lewis. Trace the number, have someone go around.
Right.
Some of these
What do you think? Is she on the game?
Could just be a model. Her and Dr. McClure, they could be father and daughter.
Of course, even if you're on the game, you must have time off. There's a wonderful story by de Maupassant about that. All the girls...
This background here, these railings, aren't they one of the colleges?
They are indeed. McClure's college, no less.
Well, well, good for Felix. No, I never met her. He never brought her into hall. Well, you can see why.
And what about the young men?
Well, the one in the middle, now, that's Matthew Rodway, the boy who...
Thank you. The other one?
That's the man he shared with his first year, Ashley Davis. Yes. Not a very good influence, I'm afraid.
Oh?
Well, nice enough when sober, but as you can see from that, quite a hefty fellow. Yes, he was a South African. Brilliant front row forward. Might have got his blue, only he had a terrible problem with his temper. He was always fighting on the pitch.
How did he get on with McClure?
Felix who got him rusticated.
Fighting off the pitch?
Yes, yes, indeed, with Rodway.
Over this girl?
That I can't tell, but Rodway was in hospital for 4 days.
Was he rusticated too?
No. His was a first offence, whereas Davis, Davis had had 2 previous warnings. As a matter of fact, he was damn lucky not to be sent down altogether.
Why wasn't he?
Well, his father's, well, rather well off, you know, raced horses, that sort of thing. Anyway, we were rather disappointed when Davis decided not to come back. We were hoping Davis Sr. might...
Economic considerations seem to play an inordinate part in this college's thinking, sir. But if you keep such close tabs on the rich, perhaps you can tell me where I might find this Ashley Davis now.
Kevin, come in. I was just marking your, I won't dignify it with the word essay, your piece, shall we say, on Macbeth. There are definite signs of improvement in your appreciation.
Thanks.
But your handwriting remains criminal.
If you ask me round just to be sarcastic, then I'll go.
No, I'm sorry. I haven't been very well. It's making me old and grouchy before my time.
You're not old. You look great. So, what's this job then?
I thought payment in 2 parts. Once before, once after.
What do you want me to do?
This Kay we've been phoning, it's not Kay Brooks after all. The Chelsea police went round. The flat's owned by a Miss Kay Bach.
As in Johann Sebastian?
B-A-C-H.
Then it is Brooks' daughter. And she's a girl of some education. Bach, Lewis, is the German for Brook.
Right.
Pretty expensive block, they say. There's escort girls living there.
How many of them speak German, though? And where is she?
Off providing services to the European community, I dare say.
How's your geography, Lewis?
Pretty good.
You know where Seven Barrows is? Important Bronze Age burial site on the Lambourne Downs, where you are going to escort yourself at dawn tomorrow to talk to Ashley Davis.
Dawn.
This is Davis, friend of Kay Brooks, also friend and/or enemy of Matthew Rodway, who is this one.
Right.
They both lived on the same staircase as McClure, and they had a fight, possibly over this girl.
And her dad was cleaning for all 3 of them. Can't be coincidence, can it?
I don't know. What I do know is that Ashley Davis's father is outstandingly rich, Lives at Blueberry, keeps his racehorses at Seven Barrows. Young Ashley's keeping his eye on the bloodstock while the old man's away. You could go and see him tonight, but he won't be home till after midnight. And I don't want any complaints about unsocial hours from Mrs. Lewis.
Mrs. Lewis doesn't think Dawn's very social. Nor do I.
Left hand down. Left hand.
Oh, I hate cars.
Here, let me do it.
You haven't got a license.
Go on. Go on.
Where on earth did you learn to do that?
Detention centre. Where'd you think?
Oh, Kevin. Can you put that carpet in the back of the car for me?
Pleasure.
None of that. Second payment's not due till after.
Very nice. We've been assuming that Brooks did it, haven't we? Well, let's look at it another way round. Let's suppose he didn't. Let's suppose that Ashley Davis killed Felix McClure.
Why should he?
One girl, two young men. It's not too hard to imagine they were both in love with her, is it?
No, but...
Davis nearly kills Rodway once, goes back during his rustication and finishes the job, filling him up with drugs and shoving him out of the window.
Well, nobody's ever suggested that Rodway was murdered, have they?
Davis gets rid of one rival, only to find that he's got another, more powerful one. An older man, a man of maturity, wisdom.
Chief Inspector?
You watch your lip. Oh, we men of experience. Oh. Perhaps McClure knew about the murder. Well, suspected it anyway. Hushed it up like he hushed up the drugs for the sake of the college. And what about this, Liz? McClure takes a fancy to Davis's girlfriend. Told her if she wouldn't go to bed with him, he would call the police. So Davis killed him too.
Chief Super won't be very pleased. We had one murder, now we've got two.
He'll be delighted if we clear them both up. You needn't really make it, Dawn. Catch him coming off the gallops. See if you can't pick up a few tips while you're there.
Never knew you were interested in horses.
I mean, look at the size of Davis's boots.
Come on, Ellen! Good. Yes! Yes! Yes!
791658.
Oh, come on!
Hello. Yes, just about to give him his tea.
Come on, what's the matter with you? Hit him, don't dance with him.
All right. Bye.
Yes! Good one.
Where's your sense of humour?
Just get out now. We're going home. Get out! Move!
Morse. Who? Yeah. Yes. What's the number?
Miss Brooks? Miss Kay Brooks? Chief Inspector Morse.